Angel Reese got caught up with some provocative photos, and I tried to hold back. And I heard something that you said, and it did make sense. That you want to be a role model to these young girls and show them what you can be able to do if you work hard. But maybe she's saying to herself, "Hey, you can create an OnlyFans. You can work hard and create this OnlyFans as well. Once you get of age, you can be able to do this too." So I'm sorry. I was just trying to hold it, and I just can't, because she's an imposter. And she's been an imposter for a very long time. She's impostoring as a basketball player, and she's not, because I've never seen somebody throw a ball at a basket so many times and fail.
Yo, Beth, that shit crazy.
We are back. Welcome to the All Even Podcast. My name is Barry Grant Jr. You can catch the show on Instagram, TikTok, X, at All Even Podcast, on TikTok, All Even Media. I'm on Facebook as well. You can listen to the show on Podbeam as well as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. I'm all over the place. Trust me, go to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment. Tell a friend to tell a friend, because the page is growing. It's no Claw today. It's a special day for Claw, though. Shouts to Claw. It's his birthday. It actually is Claw's birthday, and I got to give him some credit. He's not here. He actually went to the Knicks game and jinxed the Knicks. They got the doors blown off of them. This is the first time he's ever been at the Garden, and this is exactly what happens. So makes sense. It does make sense, but glad he's having fun. Shouts to Claw. Jimmy the Super Intern is not here as well. He is somewhere having a gambling tournament. He loves the Achilles. He does. But Silent Assassin is here. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's your week?
Good. Fun. Eventful.
It was. It was for me. I'm sure it was for you. Shouts to the spiritual whistleblower, because we had a nice interview with her. That's on the BJ show. Please check that out. She is very, very interesting. Always a good listen. Always a good conversation. So shouts to her. But lots to get into this show. We have the NFL playoffs. We're going to preview that. What the hell is going on with Deshaun Watson? Deion Sanders said something that I think a lot of people need to really pay attention to. Bradley Beal also said something in regards to his situation with the Phoenix Suns. What's going on with Angel Reese? I'm going to talk to my good friend Tom Greer from the Grindhouse Radio. We're going to talk Mets, Pete Alonso, State of the Mets, all that good stuff. My irrelevant news of the week. And then the greatest segment on the planet, Dummy of the Week.
Dummy, yeah.
Before I get into all of that, though, the wildfires that are in California right now, nothing good, horrific, scary, deadly. I mean, a lot of people have lost their lives. People have lost their homes. People have lost businesses. People have seen neighborhoods burn down. People have seen, establishments that they've seen their entire lives just disappear in front of them. So, my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody that's in California, that's in LA dealing with this right now. This is not something that we need to take lightly. They need help. They need resources. They need any goodwill that they can be able to get. So, whatever you can be able to donate, please do so. And please see if we can be able to kind of restore at least something that they can be able to hold on to. Obviously, it's not their home. It's not their belongings or whatever it is, but at least they can be able to have something to kind of build forward and, kind of help them pull from the rubble. It's just a terrible situation, and I don't wish it on anybody. So thoughts and prayers to everybody that's dealing with that right now. We're not gonna have an off-topic conversation. What we're going to have, Silent Assassin, is a conversation that's been in the media cycle for quite some time now. FS1 in their lawsuit, defendants Joy Taylor, Skip Bayless, there's some other people in there, Emmanuel Acho. They're accusing Skip Bayless of, sexual harassment with a hairstylist, offering her $1.5 million to be able to, have relations with him, sleep with him, all that stuff. And I'm just like, that don't sound like no damn Skip Bayless. He cheap as hell. Cheap as hell. Wear the same, beat up J's to Undisputed all the time. I can't see, but listen, I don't put it past anybody. And then the whole Joy Taylor situation, man, oh man, all the arrows and the bullets are flying her way. Yeah, Skip is in it. Yeah, you got some other people in it. Yeah, you got some executives in it. But all the arrows are really flying her way. But there's one person that I would love to talk to be able to get a handle of all of this. It's my good friend, 6 a million. We're going to call 6 right now on the phone. Here.
Yo.
6.
What's good, brother?
You are on the All Even podcast. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. Is this the first phone a friend?
It definitely is. It's a long time that we've done a phone friend.
I feel like I'm making history here.
You brought back an oldie, but a goodie.
That's what's up, man. How you feeling? It's been a crazy week in the news cycle, bro.
It's been a crazy week in the news cycle. I mean, we've been talking, constantly about this situation. I know you have a better handle of it than I do right now. So tell me what you kind of understand about the entire lawsuit and what's going on and, what your feelings are in regards to the situation.
So about the lawsuit itself, it's like super interesting because it starts off really being like a lawsuit against Fox, but you kind of make it a class action suit, all the hairdressers and stylists, and then you have separate lawsuits and Skip Bayless. So this is kind of a biggie, and I think it's going to have a big effect on all broadcasting, however this gets settled, to be honest with you. So from what I've heard and read, there was a hairstylist. I don't want to mess up her name, so I'm going to call her Miss Faraji. She came into FS1 with Joy being youngins in the game together. Joy just coming out of college, still doing bartending. I believe she did a little TV, but this was her first big gig. And befriended her hairdresser, Mrs. Faraji. So over the years, Mrs. Faraji got to witness the rise of Joy Taylor, if you will. So I believe the way it started was Joy, who was a married woman, and this is her right, but she was a married woman, started sleeping with Charles Dixon, who was the executive creative VP, I believe, up there at FS1. Sorry to not get it right. But yeah, they were hooking up for a little while, and it got to a point where when Miss Faraji used to hang out with Joy and her husband, she's now hanging out with Joy and Mr. Dixon, and didn't really know who this guy was. He was just kind of the older guy at the bar who was buying the drinks. So about a year after Mr. Dixon and Miss Faraji bump into the elevator, he starts kind of flirting with her, and she goes to Joy, and she's like, hey, this guy's kind of flirting me. What's up with this?
My man was trying to get a threesome.
Listen, you buy all them vodka martinis, you trying to do something, right?
Facts.
So she goes to Joy and lets her know, and Joy finally spills the beans. She's like, listen, don't say anything. This is kind of how things work in this business. He kind of helped me get to the spot that I was at. He actually suggested to Skip Bayless that Joy get on Undisputed. And if you watch the show, especially at the beginning, Skip is not a Joy fan. He used to say a lot of slick shit to her, give her crazy looks, cut her off. Shannon was cool with her, but Skip wasn't really with it. So after a while, she gets her own show, and she started cooking up with Acho. So her friend, the hairdresser, I don't want to keep mispronouncing her name, but she goes to Joy, and she's like, hey, watch out. You're kind of hooking up with two big guys at the company. It could get really dangerous for you. And then Joy puffs her chest out, which is the craziest part to me, because I want to give her all the consideration in the world. She's a woman. She should be able to sleep with whoever she wants to sleep with. But she says, if Mr. Dixon starts to mess with me, I'm just going to say that he forced his way on me. I'm a big dog, too. He's not going to big dog me out of this position, which is absolutely insane. Yeah. So as far as the Skip part, throughout this time, instead of hitting on Joy like everybody else is doing, Skip is hitting on the hairdresser. And he's pretty much propositioning her. It starts with a little bit of flirting at first, but the more she resists, the more he's kind of into it. So at one point, I believe he says to her, or she says to him, hey, Skip, you have a wife? And Skip replies with, well, you're Muslim. Your father probably had 3 or 4 wives. And she immediately shut it down with, my father's dead. And, we've all pulled that before back in elementary school when somebody's cracking your mama jokes and you just had to shut them up. So,
Right.
that's kind of an old school, an old school trick that she pulled on him, which is crazy. But then apparently Skip, never really stops. And he, at one point, grabs her ass and then propositions her for $1.5 million. That's the most unbelievable part of the story to me.
That's the same thing I said, Six. I'm just like, he wear the same old ass J's to Undisputed all the time. He not even buying no new joints. I don't believe that he giving nobody no 1.5.
Fact. But he might have been saying it facetiously. I think he might have been saying it jokingly. Because at a certain point, when you're flirting with somebody that much and they're not really giving you the response, you can either take it the creepy way and just be extra creepy with it, or you can kind of just poke fun at yourself for trying so hard for so long.
Right.
And I don't know. I think he might have been facetious to say that. Just 1.5, you're going to go for that? Just kind of messing with her.
Yeah.
But so the lawsuit was really against Fox and Skip, but I think Joy is really catching the heat because of that one line in that statement. Because, with the whole Me Too movement and women empowerment and believe all women, for you to say, oh, if he messes with me, I'm just going to call, say that he forced himself on me, that's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And the craziest
it's diabolical.
The craziest part is she can actually still pull that stunt. She has her own podcast. She can still go on the podcast and say, yeah, that is what happened.
Right.
I did what I had to do to get my position, but, I felt I was in a position where I had to do that. And people will sympathize with her. In this climate, I don't think anybody's sympathizing with Mr. Dixon. So.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think the end result of this is going to be? Do you think that FS1 is going to have to pull her off air, maybe let her go? What do you think the most extreme side of it would be, and the most light side of it would be?
Well, I think the lighter side of it would be that hard is that nothing happened.
Right.
Only reason I say it's going to be a little hard is because so many things are so well documented. She kept a journal of this over the years. So it kind of gives a lot of credence to her story. But without any hard evidence, I can see this, maybe her getting a payday and this going away. And I think worst case scenario, they're going to have to part way with Joy.
Right.
Skip already left. Mr. Dixon, I'm not sure of his position at the company anymore. He might have already been out. Joy's the on-air personality, and she's going to be the face of this.
Right.
And nothing to do with exactly what she did, but in a lawsuit like this, corporate's just going to want to get away from her.
Yeah, and the thing is, on the extreme side, obviously, and we're not saying that anything is true or not or whatever it is. These are all allegations, and we have to see how it plays out. But it's on the extreme side, hypothetically, if this were to happen that way, this is devastating for the remainder of her career. You know what I mean? Because of how she, kind of puts herself out there, how her way of speaking, posting, all of these things, people are gonna look at her and be like, okay, you want a new situation. Well, how'd you get there? Right. And that's that's the fucked up part about it, is that you don't want to ever think about a woman like that. But when a woman potentially does do that, what else can you say? You know what I'm saying? Like you have to lead with that, because she's kind of literally put it in your face all of these years. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, she dresses provocatively, which I'm a man, I'm going to love it. But at the end of the day, it's other women attacking her now.
Right.
And they have attacked her in the past for code switching.
Facts.
Because I don't know if you realize the way she was talking on Colin's show and Undisputed when she was a moderator, not the way she was talking when she was the second mic and the first mic on her own show.
100%.
She's kind of blacked it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So a lot of our sisters have called her on that. So I could definitely see her. I wouldn't want her to, because I don't think there's something you should lose your job over. But I can definitely see Fox parting ways with, because it's just corporate.
Oh yeah.
Like they're not going to stick with that.
They're gonna have to. They gotta protect their brand. You know, the Fox brand is a very big brand. No matter if their sport division is not what it, you know what I mean. But it's still a very big brand, and they don't want anybody jeopardizing that. So, you know, it's unfortunate that this particular thing has leaked and came out. But you know, if there was some nasty work that was going on behind the scenes, I mean, some people gotta, you know, they gotta kind of jump on the sword, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel like Acho is safe, even though as crazy as his part of it is in it. I think he's safe.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be sweeping changes in the industry, because part of the lawsuit was that Skip would contact Mrs. Faraji outside of the dressing room, because they actually keep mics and cameras in the dressing room to literally prevent this sort of thing.
Wow.
So the fact that he's accosting her in the dining hall or in the hallway, texting her at home, like, it could get ugly.
Yeah, it definitely gonna get ugly for Skip, because Ernestine gonna bust his ass. Ernestine gonna bust his ass. She gonna work him out. Work him out.
Right.
You better make sure you stay on that treadmill, because she gonna work him out.
I'm gonna give Skip the benefit of the doubt, because I don't like this whole thing that the internet does. Once you get accused of something, people start looking for reasons why you should have been accused.
Oh yeah.
Now they talk about my man's face and how dry his skin is, and nothing about Skip over his 20-year career on TV. Now, we don't know these people,
right?
But sometimes you can get an indication of somebody's behavior when you talk for 3.5 hours every single day. Your personality is going to leak out.
Right, absolutely. And listen, he's been in the public space for 40 plus years now, right?
Yeah, and for this something to happen this late in his career, I think maybe he might have got a little flirty with the hairdresser, but I do think SH might be a little far. Now, if he put his hands on her, cupped her butt, this is 2025, you're going to have to pay for that. But I'm not going to tarnish that man's image over him getting a little flirty at 73.
Yeah, I mean, you know how them old heads be, man. They a little loose with it. You know what I'm saying? They see a young girl and they just think that this is 1997 all over again. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not the way it works nowadays. You can't even tell a girl nowadays you got a nice dress on. They're gonna look at you sideways. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you an old skeleton. When you're an old skeleton dude looking like Skip. So it's it's unfortunate. Like I said, we gotta see how this plays out. But I think the biggest blowback from this is with Joy. I think all the arrows are pointed at her because of how she is and the bravado that she kind of puts out there. You know, she talking wild on her podcast, like, if a man got money, all your morals go out the window, and type of like all of those receipts are starting to come up now, and it's like, what are we really doing? Like, were you telling us what you were doing? You know, why you were doing it?
Like I just said,
you know what I'm saying?
Somebody who talks 3 hours a day, every day, they're going to tell you who they are.
Facts.
The receipts exist because you are this person.
Yeah.
So the same way, I don't feel like there's enough receipts on Skip to put that on him. There's more than enough receipts on her to be like,
100%. To the pat there. Listen, remember, her and Taylor Rooks was doing that pod, and Taylor Rooks said, "You know what? I'm gonna just exit out the back door. I'm gonna just exit out the back door because you ain't gonna catch me in this. It's not gonna be me." You know what I'm saying? So we gonna see how this shit play out, my man Six. But I appreciate you chiming in, man. You know, you always bring the facts, always bring the knowledge, man. It's always good to talk to you.
Yeah, you too, my brother. Be up. Be good. Be safe.
All right, my guy.
Later.
Yeah, so that was 6. Breaking it down, man. I mean, what are your thoughts on that Silent Assassin? Do you believe any side of this? Do you think that any of it could be realistic, could be true? And if so, what are your thoughts? Obviously, you are a woman in the working field and in that in the entertainment industry in regards to certain things. So like, how do you feel about hearing something like that?
I think obviously it definitely happened, so I don't see it not being true or not. But on the side of trying to kind of purposely sleep your way up to the top, I'm
Yeah.
not really with that.
Yeah.
And kind of the whole like what Six was talking about, how she kind of made comments like, okay, like we're doing this for like our benefit.
Yeah. Like you need to get on board.
Yeah, like I'm not really a big fan of that. And
Right.
being like a woman, like I would never do that. I wouldn't really encourage my friends to do that. And even if someone said that to me, I'd be like, nah, like I'm not. I want to work. I want to earn my
Right.
way there and not kind of sleep with somebody or do something
Right.
that it's the integrity of it too. Like I'm in this position. I want to earn my way.
Yeah, you
there,
want to earn
so.
your keep. You want to be there for your talent of what your job is.
Yeah.
Not your talent also. You know what I'm saying? It's like that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So it's like, man, like the more videos I see about this, obviously everybody is just like they're throwing their allegations out there. They're throwing their opinions. This is an opinion situation, but it's a 41-page document. It's well documented. It's very, very detailed, and it's just like, damn. You look crazy if you over here telling somebody else that you need to get on board. This is kind of how it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like for a very long time before kind of like the boom of women in sports, it was always that cliche of, well, how did she get there? Right? What did you do to get here? And women have had to fight really hard in the sports space to be knowledgeable, to be well respected, to be known for what they're saying in regards to their views and not what they're wearing and how they look or what they're pushing up on you, right? So they had to really work hard to get to that point, and to see this potentially come out as the old guard really sucks.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Because it kind of sets the entire movement back.
Definitely a big pushback, especially the whole Me Too movement. Like, this is not the case if she was obviously a part of it and she was okay with it and everything, but it's like, you're a woman, you should be on our side and not trying to use men. Like, it also too, like, that's like messed up on like, oh, he's rich and successful, let me, give him a little something and I can, I don't agree with any of that.
And then also too, kind of use it as like, oh, well, if he tries to jam me up, I'm gonna just say that he forced himself.
Yeah, no, that's
like,
no.
Like that's a nightmare situation for a man. I'm just telling you personally, like you don't never want to be in a situation like that. I've never been, but like thinking about it, being with somebody and knowing that it was consensual, and then all of a sudden they just jump out the window with this. It's like, come on now, you're literally destroying my life and my career by you just not wanting to take accountability because you're fearful of, backlash in your family or your community or your job or your whatever it is. Like, you're literally putting somebody's livelihood at risk, and not only their livelihood, but their freedom. Yeah. Right?
Over something that's never happened.
Exactly. So that's nasty work. Nasty work. So, Acho looked like he's safe. Shannon Sharp said, this ain't got nothing to do with me. So don't even ask me no stupid questions about this. And like I said, if this is true and Skip was over here squeezing butts, Ernestine gonna bust his ass. That's all I'm saying. After the break, we're gonna talk about NFL matchups for the playoff games this weekend. Wild card weekend is upon us, and I'm going to pick my winners after the break.
Yo, it's your man DJ G Money from that Flip the Script podcast. You see it? We in the studio right now. Flip, shut up. Yeah. Oh, listen. Shout out to the All Even podcast. My man Barry Grant Jr. What's up, man? What happened? What you want to say to the people?
Shout out somebody else's podcast?
Yeah, my nigga the joint. What's up?
All Even.
All Even podcast.
Yo, it ain't even up here, boy. We put this go something. All Even. Yo, you. Oh my God. What's up with you, man? Now you. Well, that's a shout out. You keeping this?
Yeah, keep all that. You want to jump
All
on the
Even
camera?
podcast, right?
Yeah, All
Shout out
Even.
to All Even podcast, right? All Even. That's your man.
My man.
All right, shout out to All Even podcast.
100%. He cool. Is he cool? Let me see. Is he cool?
G. What is it, G?
Oh.
I said about G.
He cool, man.
Wild card weekend is here. The NFL playoffs have finally started and everybody's excited. We have games that are happening tomorrow, Saturday. We have Sunday games, and we also have the Monday game as well. So, the 4:30 game is going to be between the Chargers and the Texans. Chargers are 11-6. Texans are 10-7. They kind of backed into the playoffs, weren't playing real well. This is an actual interesting matchup. Texans obviously have the home game. We'll see if CJ Stroud can be able to rebound because he has not looked good for a very long time now. I don't know if he can be able to bounce back. The Chargers have had a very solid defense all year. I think that Jim Harbaugh has done a great job with this team. Justin Herbert has kind of flown under the radar this season. Nobody's really talked about him as much. I have the Chargers winning this game. I think the Chargers are going to defensively stifle this team. Even though they're on the road, they've played very well on the road this season. And I think the Chargers walk away with the victory here. After that, and they have the Chargers -3. So I like that spread. I definitely got the Chargers. Steelers and Ravens. We have a AFC North matchup. These teams have been beating up on each other all year. This is their third time seeing each other. And obviously, things have got to break the Steelers' way. They have struggled mightily in the second half of the season. They look like they can't buy a win. The Ravens look good. They're 12-5, finished the season strong. Lamar Jackson is going to get his third MVP of his career, which is insane. Back-to-back, he's had probably one of the best quarterback seasons we've ever seen. It's not just for his standards, it's period. So Steelers are struggling. Ravens are flying high. They're at home. I have the Ravens winning this game, although it's going to be an AFC North matchup. It's a division matchup. I think it's going to be a tough-nosed game, but I do see the Ravens getting out on top and advancing. We have the Sunday game, Broncos and Bills. This is an interesting matchup. You have Bo Nix, the rookie, who has taken the world by storm. People thought that he was rubbish coming out of college. They thought that why the hell are they giving him a chance to start? And he has proven all the doubters wrong. He's played extremely well. He's going against Josh Allen. Those Buffalo Bills have been good all year. 13-4. They're at home. They're going to be in the cold. Broncos are used to playing in the cold, so that's not a big deal to them. But I'm not going to lie to you. I have never been a big-time Sean McDermott fan. And the way the Broncos are playing, they are hot. And this kind of feels like Green Bay against Dallas last season. Green Bay was hot. Dallas was the team that was at home, had a nice path to the NFC Championship game if everything went well and they won their games. This kind of feels like that. Now, I'm not saying the Broncos are going to beat down the Bills and blow them out, but I think the Broncos win this game. I do have the Broncos winning this matchup. I just call me crazy. I think Patrick Surtain is the best cornerback in all of football. I think when you got a guy that can be able to literally shut down half of the field, it's going to force Josh Allen to be able to try to do different things, use his legs that he does, but also maybe try to force passes that he shouldn't, and maybe he ends up throwing a couple of interceptions that might be very costly during the game. I think Bo Nix is going to be in his game manager mode. He has the ability to be able to use his legs. They've been very good offensively. They've gotten timely scores. So I think the Broncos riding this wave, I think they actually pull up the upset of the weekend. So Broncos are definitely going to be the winners in this matchup, and that's my opinion. We have Packers and Eagles. We have kind of both quarterbacks a little banged up here, right? So you have Jalen Hurts. They said that he's going to be good to go for this game. Eagles are at home. I am never going to pick the Eagles. I think that they're a better team. But do I think that they're going to be ready for what the Packers are going to give them? I have no idea. We have to see how Jalen Hurts responds. So if he doesn't play well, if he's not 100%, if he's not close to 100%, and he's not able to plant or be able to use his legs and be athletic, it's going to hamper this team offensively. I know they have Saquon Barkley. I know they have A.J. Brown. I know they have these weapons. But, the catalyst is making sure that your quarterback can be able to deliver the football and do things that can be able to take the defense and make them a little bit off kilter that allows Saquon Barkley to do the damage that he's done all season. So if they can be able to do that, if Hurts can be able to find a way to, get through the game without being completely hampered all the way through, I think they have a shot to win. The Packers, the same thing. I think if Jordan Love is able to stay upright, if he's able to stay healthy, I think he gives them a very good chance to win. So if you want me to pick a winner here, give me the Packers on the road. Give me the Packers on the road to beat the Eagles. We have Commanders and Bucks. I think this is going to be a very fun game. Commanders are 12-5. Bucks are 10-7. Both quarterbacks have played very, very well this season. I think Baker Mayfield, he's not going to be in the MVP conversation, but what a season he had. I think this guy has found a home. I think he's legitimately a franchise quarterback at this point. You can be able to trust him to be able to get you to the playoffs. He's done that several times now. So, Buccaneers, I think the Buccaneers win this game at home. Baker Mayfield ends up having a very good game, and they advance. For the Monday night game, we have Vikings and Rams. They had to move this game due to the California fires. They're playing in Arizona now. Vikings are one of the hottest teams in football. Sam Darnold, what a revenge tour season he's had. He's one of my candidates for MVP as well. He's not going to win it, but he should be up there. Rams have been a team that's battled all year with injuries and guys coming in and out of the lineup. But I like the Vikings. I like them on the road to be able to win this game and advance. So I have the Vikings winning. I'll give you a score. 30-23. Vikings win. So those are my picks for the weekend. I'm curious to see how the weekend goes. I'm curious to see how these playoffs kind of play themselves out and see what happens. So, we'll see. Haven't done any predictions in a while, but it's playoff time. So, I figured I'd take that out of the bag. Moving on. It's about the NFL draft. It's about what players are being positioned and how the stories are going to start unfolding at this point. Every year, there's always a player or two that, they descend in the draft due to characters or whatever stories that are coming out, or you have players that ascend due to their combine, the scouts, the executives, everybody's on them, right? Shedeur Sanders is one of those interesting players. I think he's a first-round grade. I think he's a top 3 grade. I think he should probably be the first quarterback off the board this year. Is he? Will he be? I have no idea. People have been saying that Deion Sanders should be a guy that is looking towards making the next transition into being an NFL head coach. But Deion Sanders is a person that looks at opportunity. It's not about, the Dallas Cowboys might be available. I'll probably go there. No, it needs to be the right situation. Jackson State was the right situation at the right time for Deion Sanders. Colorado at a Power 5 was the best situation for Deion Sanders at that moment. Deion Sanders is telling you right now that the NFL there's no opportunity right now that is worth my time to be able to uproot everything that I've built here in Colorado to go to the NFL. Except one thing. All of that can be able to be overridden if you consider this. If you draft my son Shador and my other son Shiloh, then now we have a conversation of that's an opportunity that I might not be able to pass up. See, a lot of opportunities like this, these things don't come across often, where a father can be able to coach his star quarterback son and also his other kid that's really, really good at football as well, and have them on the same team, and they go through the process together. They're like a package deal. So people want to talk about Bronny and LeBron being a package deal, and people don't like it. Well, tough shit. It's just the way it is. So if a team is saying, you know what, we want Shador, but we want Deion more. And if we can be able to draft Shiloh in maybe the second or third round, we might be able to get all three of them together. If I'm a GM that's looking for a spark and to sell tickets, yeah, you're fucking right, I'm going to do that shit. I would rather stake my reputation on that than not. Because if Shador ends up becoming good, that's kind of half the standard right there. If you can find a franchise quarterback, you're sold. You're gold in the NFL. If you can find a coach that's actually up to snuff and can be a leader of men, now you're ahead of the game. And if you can be able to find a guy that can be a very, very good defender, very good cornerback or safety, or somebody who can be able to kind of fly around and be a jack of all trades, yeah, he could be a piece to this team. He doesn't necessarily have to be a star, but he could be a damn good piece. Where's the risk? Where's the risk for a team like Tennessee? Where's the risk for a team like the Raiders? Where's the risk for a team like Carolina? Yeah, I would go ahead and explore that option. I would call Deion and say, if we were to do this, if we were to draft your sons, would you come? Can we have something in agreement that you would be able to take this job? And if there's some assurances there, then why the fuck not? That's how I'm looking at it. So, yeah, Deion is happy at Colorado. He's happy with what he built. He's happy at the Power 5. They're doing great things. They just, in the bowl game, I think they won the bowl game. So it's like, yeah, if you want to go ahead and, keep me here, I'm fine here. I can also watch my kid in the NFL and see how they're doing. But if you want the real package, then you got to draft both of them, and I'll definitely think about coming. That's an enticing situation for a new GM or a franchise that's struggling to get out of purgatory in regards to their success or failure. So that's something to think about. Moving on. Oh my goodness, this cold is killing me. Poor Deshaun Watson. I feel bad for him. Listen, he's gone through a lot. He has. He was over here. Do I have to say? He was out there hanging out with Mia Khalifa. Then he ended up doing what he did, and he got in trouble, right? Then he got rewarded with this big-ass contract by the Browns. And since he signed that deal, nothing has gone right for Deshaun Watson. It's crazy. It would make it seem like, and I'm going to get real crazy with it right now, Silent Assassin, you might have to tell me, you know what, you're going to probably have to blank that out. But it's my show. I don't care. You would think that he actually splurged on the devil. You would think that he just did something to the devil. He's like, all right, I got you now. Like, yo, you talk about bad luck. He was hurt, got into the game. He played like shit, tore his Achilles. Now he's trying to recover. Everybody thinks that everything's looking good for him to recover. And he tears the same Achilles again. He is potentially out for the entire season. Like, this is one of the worst contracts, if not the worst contract in sports history. He may have Ben Simmons beat. And that's a contract that I never thought would ever get eclipsed. But man, you pissed somebody off, man. You pissed somebody off. That's all I'm saying. That's nasty work. It's crazy.
I think being a woman, I'm kind of happy.
Vindication.
His life is kind of gone downhill just for being a nasty creep and stuff, and all the stuff he's done. But it just don't be like that, and then then you'll have success. Like, look at all the nice guys in NFL,
right,
thriving, and then you have yourself and just a failure. So
right.
Yeah.
It's very true. It's like, you have guys that do bad stuff and they are successful. They never see any type of punishment, right? And you see the victims, they suffer, but this one here is just like, dude, ever since you signed that contract, the devil just said, you know what? I'm gonna wipe myself off, but I got you, man. Like, it's nasty work. I do feel, as a person that covers sports, the athlete I feel bad for. The person, no.
Yeah.
The athlete I feel bad for, because this is still a very, very young guy, and he may not ever get to a point where he was the Deshaun Watson of old, that was one of the best quarterbacks in the league coming up. He's looking at a backup role for the remainder of his career, if he's even in the NFL. You know what I mean? Which sucks.
Because he was pretty horrible even before the injury this year. So
yeah, he's terrible.
Yeah, so I can't even see him having a starting role going forward. Even like you said, playing. If he how he even recovers from the injury, if he gets the chance to play.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I just, I feel bad for the guy, but at the end of the day, just don't do dumb shit. That's all I'm saying. Try to make sure that you're not a creep, and make people uncomfortable to the point where now nobody's feeling sorry for you. You're kind of like on an island by yourself with the devil that you splurged on. That's all I'm saying. Real quick, I see what the Atlanta Falcons are trying to do, and man, oh man, every time I say it, every time I see him, Kirk Cousins is the biggest winner in life. He's always they're thinking about trading him. They're thinking about doing certain things. He's like, oh, no, it's fine. Hey, you don't owe me anything. If you want to go ahead and go start the kid, go ahead. Hey, I will even mentor him. How's that? Oh, you know what, Kirk? He's been so good in this entire situation, man. He's just, he's been very helpful. He's been very, just very responsible, and just really trying to be a company man and do the things that he needs to do to help this kid progress. While Kirk Cousins is like, I'm getting paid regardless if I play or not. Doesn't matter to me. You gonna pay me. Let the kid play it. I just sit here and collect $40 million. Why not? What kind of deal is that? I'd take that. Oh, so you want me to train the new kid, and then you want to give me a $200,000 raise? So he's going to be doing the work, and I'm just going to sit here? Sure. Who wouldn't sign up for that? Who's going to be like, you know what? I want to prove myself at 37, 36 years old that I still got it. You got paid, bruh. You made it. You good. You know, it's not going to end up happening. I don't think that they're going to keep him as a backup. But if they do, who's the biggest winner? Who's the bigger winner than Kirk Cousins? Huh? Man drives a Prius or some shit like that. He doesn't even spend that money. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like crazy. Like in the NFL, like all the guaranteed money is actually too like football. Like anything can happen. It's just like such a like dangerous sport. You get hit the wrong way and then you're done.
And
So,
he's negotiated guaranteed money.
It's wild.
I'm telling you, man, there's nobody that I look up to more in regards to finances. Like no one. That man needs to be running classes about how to do it the right way. If he has a Bitcoin class, I'm joining. Because anything he touches turns to gold. Outside of playing quarterback, everything else, winner. I respect them. After the break, my irrelevant news of the week.
Yo, this is Cigar Gents and Gals. I want to give a shout out to my boy Barry for All Even Podcast. Keep doing your thing, bro. Killing it.
Now it's time for my irrelevant news of the week.
I mean, how do you watch the? I mean, they stink.
Every week I go around and I see the interesting stories around wherever it is I find it. Relevant news of the week is interesting, and I have some interesting stories to deliver today. Yankees fans that grabbed ball out of Mookie Betts' glove are banned from baseball. They are banned from every single ballpark in baseball. Their faces are going to be plastered everywhere. Now, look, I understand the moment. I understand that the emotions and the feelings are in it, but you got to be the dumbest person alive to think that you did this and nobody saw what the fuck you did. Like literally every single camera in that fucking ballpark is staring at you. So you thought that you were going to do this in what? That they were just going to laugh it off and you were just going to be the G that took the ball out of Mookie Betts' hands? You're a fucking idiot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like surprised actually when I obviously watched it live. I was like messaging my family. It's like, this like guy is like, what are you doing? But then the next day or a couple days leading after, like people were like praising them.
Yeah.
I was like, this is ridiculous.
Lowest of the low.
Yeah. It's like also too, without him being an athlete, like don't put your hands on somebody.
Right.
Like regardless. It's like don't touch me. No, I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just disrespectful regardless of who it is or what the situation is.
Facts. Because if Mookie Betts would have said, you know what? I'm going to climb this gate now and I'm going to put hands on both of them.
Yeah, then he's...
It's warranted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't touch me, dog.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So the fact that they're now banned from every ballpark, good. You can sit home and you can get drunk on your couch and you can watch the games. It's just dumb. I remember when it happened. I didn't laugh. I wasn't trying to make fun of it. I was just like, this is a perfect example of when stupid people ruin it for good people. Mm-hmm. Because they may even instill a rule now where there is no more interference, where if the ball is over the fence, you got to just put your hands here and not even do anything. So now you're taking away from a fan's experience that they're trying to interact with, the ball that's actually landing right in their vicinity. It's unfortunate, but the good always have to suffer for the bad. Mm-hmm. The dummies always ruin it for the smart people and for the people that don't want to cause problems. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it is. So, moving on. Let's see. Oh, yes. Vince McMahon settles SEC charges for $1.7 million. So Vince McMahon had lawsuits out there. That's why he had to sell the WWE. That's why he lost his shares in the new, TKO stock, the new big business deal that the WWE and UFC are in. And he had lied about all of these hush money payments that he was giving people. And this is what he settled. So he settled with the civil penalty, $400,000 he had to pay. And he had to reimburse the WWE 1.33. So in total, he had to pay a little bit over $1.7 million. And it's just amazing how you can be rich and old and be able to skate around the system and just pay your way to innocence or freedom. It's fucking upsetting. Like, as a wrestling fan, I will never look at Vince McMahon the same again. Like, yeah, he was a genius. Yeah, he was innovative. Yeah, he changed the world of like wrestling and sports entertainment. But, you know, you can also not admire the man. You can admire his accomplishments, yes. It's like R. Kelly, right? Like, boy dropped some slaps. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, there's some songs that I still play to this day. I don't give a shit. But the man, you can't defend. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's exactly what we are with Vince McMahon, is that you can be able to literally just pay, you know, for Vince McMahon that sold his company for billions of dollars. This is fucking pennies. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we're going to see what happens with the Miss Grant lawsuit to see if that continues to be a thing, and you know how that kind of plays itself out. But yeah, Vince McMahon is a creep. Fuck Vince McMahon. This one was really funny.
Alright, I don't want no one to feel no type of way of what I'm about to say, but let's start taking care of that personal hygiene before you lay on my bed for a wax. There is no reason why you have cottage cheese built up in the front and balls in the back. Okay, Dookie Butt? Go to the bathroom, start washing your before you come in for your appointment, because at this point it is highly unexcusable. Y'all are 20 plus years old. There's no reason why I'm seeing these things when I'm trying to remove hair. I'm not wiping you down, but I will tell you to excuse yourself to go take care of yourself. Serving that to somebody, you should be embarrassed. They need to be embarrassed for taking it, but you need to be embarrassed for even offering it, okay? Let's do better, ladies. Let's do better. I don't...
So this is statistician with the PSA of the year. She does wax appointments. And obviously, there's going to be so many different things that you come across when dealing in that particular field. I don't envy her at all. I'll tell you a quick story. For years, I grew up believing that the women's bathroom looked like you know when Cinderella was dancing and like everything is just like glittery and butterflies flying around, and like it's just so clean, like you could literally just eat candy off the floor and shit. That's what I thought the women's bathroom was, until women told me that it's the worst place that you want to be. It's disgusting. Like, there's tampons left everywhere. There's just shit everywhere. It's like there's you think that every woman that looks nice, dresses nice, has a nice car, just very well put together, is hygienically responsible. And that ain't the case. You know what I'm saying? You heard what she said. Like, you know, cottage cheese in the front, dookie crust in the back. Like, what are we doing, man? Like, it's bad. Like, as a female, like, I'm sure you've seen some crazy shit in the females' bathrooms going, being in your life and going through that.
Yeah, I would say personally, like, the only experience I've ever had with the girls being cleaner than the boys' bathroom is like at like a baseball stadium, because like there's not many women usually there. But like on the norm, yeah, like girls' bathrooms are disgusting. There's stuff everywhere. There's, like you said, the tampons. I remember in middle school, 7th or 8th grade, I was on the lacrosse team, so we're all changing, and then there's like literally someone found like a tampon on the floor another girl picked it up and was
on.
chasing people with it in the back. Like,
Come
granted, they were
on.
kids, but still,
Yeah,
it's disgusting. Like,
yeah,
clean up after yourself. This is not like,
right.
It's like kind of like a similar situation. Like when it's not her job to clean up your
tell you to
situation.
clean yourself up.
It's common
Wash
sense.
your ass and stop having these dookie stains in your drawers.
Even like she said, it's embarrassing. Like, why would you like want to go to a place and just open up and be careful? And like, I don't understand.
Yo, some people ain't got no
that.
shame.
It's like wild.
Some people have no shame, silent assassin. Like, they don't care. You know what I'm saying? And they will look at you crazy like, oh, well, this is your job. No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to remove a hair, not remove something else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I saw it was a couple months ago, a similar situation where the woman declined to give services because she said the smell was really bad, and the client was like, "I don't smell anything," and she's like, "I can't deal with you. You have to, either clean up before you come, or I just can't service you because it's
wicked.
It's not good."
Yo, listen, it's crazy when you don't even smell yourself. So the fact that your nose follicles have been so numb to the toxins has been spreading around. It's horrible. You remember my story that I told you all those years back, right? It still stays with me to this day. It's scarring. Okay? So I can imagine somebody like her that works in this field. She might need therapy for the things that she's seen. Yeah. And she's like, I never even expected that from her. And she's my friend. That's like, listen, I remember my cousins, real quick before we move on, is that he would come home and tell me, he's like, look, Jay, don't assume that just because a girl looks nice, that everything is nice. And as a young kid, I was just like, I don't get it. Well, I got it. Dre, I got it. Yeah. So it's crazy, man. Like what females have to go through to actually maintain themselves and stuff like that. But you have some females out there that they're like dudes. They're worse than dudes. Mm-hmm. Like they don't do nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's fucking scary.
Yeah, I also hate too, like, where some women are like, oh, I don't want like a man like too like clean, want to take him. Like, I like appreciate that. Like, go get your nails done. I don't care. It's not like, if you want to present yourself as clean and hygienic, that's a good thing. You shouldn't be ashamed of being clean.
Yeah.
Like, but like some girls just have to take better care of
themselves. Nah, 100%. I mean, look, I respect the dudes out there that get the nails done, mani and pedi. I need to go get my feet done because I told Silent Assassin and Claw this story last weekend, and they laughed at me. But yo, when you got flakes coming off your heel, that's wicked. Like, yo, I was like, what is that? That's my foot? Oh, nah. That's unacceptable, right? That's unexcusable. Just like what she said in the video, that's unexcusable. It's not even a word, but we'll take it. Unexcusable. So yeah, that is my irrelevant news.
You gotta be kidding me. I mean, how do you watch the? I mean, they stink.
Bradley Beal and the Phoenix Suns have had a very, very up and down season. They have the big three over there: Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant. They have the coach, Mike Budenholzer's over there. He was supposed to change life. I remember when they first started the season, they were hot, and now they're not. They're getting blown out by everybody. Their team doesn't look good. They have an unbalanced team because they're paying these 3 stars a lot of money, and the rest of this roster doesn't look good. Yusuf Nurkic, he's been benched, and he's getting a lot of DNPs. He's not playing. So, they've also put Bradley Beal on the bench. This is a guy that's been a starter for the majority of his career. He's a star, and he's not really happy about the benching, but at the same time, he's getting paid. So what does he care? But he has and no trade clause. So the Phoenix Suns can't just trade him anywhere. So he said that, listen, he wants to be kept abreast to what's going on, what the talks are, what the lineup situation is. All of these things he needs to know because he's the one that holds all the cards, not the Phoenix Suns. And it's very, very rare that you hear a player talk like that says that I'm the one that has the leverage and not the team. And I like that. I think that he understands his value. He understands where he's at in his career. And he understands that if I'm going to be traded or I'm going to be treated like this, I need to make sure that I'm wielding the last bit of leverage that I have in regards to this no trade clause, and I'm going to use it. I don't care. So do I see that Bradley Beal is going to stay on the Miami Heat? Phoenix Suns. It's very possible because his contract is bad. They can't find a suitor, and I don't think that the Miami Heat, with them wanting to trade Jimmy Butler, are willing to do a swap for Butler and Beal. Beal goes to Miami, Butler goes to the Phoenix Suns. I don't think that Miami wants to do that. If they don't want to do that, they're going to have to hold on to Jimmy Butler for a while, and I think the Phoenix Suns are not going to really find a trade partner for Bradley Beal to move him out. So both players might be might be there for a while. I think Jimmy, the trade deadline is coming. I think they're going to try to get him out, but they're not going to force anything. That's what I've heard. So shouts to Bradley Beal for really knowing his worth and using that leverage card. Sometimes you gotta pull that get out of jail free card. Monopoly. Oh yeah, I hit the dice double. I'm out. I need that card right here. I'm gonna get out right. Sometimes you need that, right? So he got that get out of jail free card. I respect it. I'm gonna try to be nice. Before I even tell you what I'm talking about, that's my disclaimer. I'm going to try to be nice because I got dragged last week because I said I didn't like Jello Ball's song. People are making fun of me on social media, talking about they don't like my glasses, and I got very sensitive about it, so I took the glasses off. I'm not going to wear the glasses this week, right? And I was like, I want to try a different approach. I was just being honest. I don't like the song. I don't care if it's famous. I think I feel that if he can be able to ride the wave, make money off of it, he found his purpose. Respect to him. But that's not what we're talking about right now. Angel Reese got caught up with some provocative photos, and people have been criticizing her for it, and until she has deleted her social media to kind of stay off the, everybody's trail, the media trail right now. And for me, I'm just like, I understand that. But first off, you posted the pictures to social media. So what do you think was going to happen when people are comparing you constantly to Caitlin Clark? Caitlin Clark is out there looking like Larry Bird in the face, plain Jane. And she's out there doing charity work. She's out there playing basketball. She's out there trying to connect the dots and trying to be a flag bearer for the WNBA. Respect to her, right? While Angel Reese, as I said, is connected at the hip because they came in together. There's competition from both fan bases of the players that they don't like each other. One thinks that the other one's better than the other, and blah, blah, blah. It's going to constantly be like this until it's not. And you posting provocative pictures thinking that people are not going to say something? Hell, I saw them. And the first thing that came to my mind was, so she can put all this work into looking like this, but she can't put no work in making a layup. Go get a layup coach and learn how to shoot. You're a basketball player at the end of the day. You're not a model. You're not an IG model. You're not a thirst trap. That's not what you do. So yeah, people are going to criticize you because you're a basketball player that can't score to save her life. So like I said, I want to be nice. I'm not going to say any misogynistic stuff. But if you want that type of attention, you're going to get it. If you want to be taken seriously as a basketball player, you don't do this. You do this when you're hedging your bet. And what I mean by hedging your bet is like, I don't know if this basketball thing is going to work out for me. So maybe I need to kind of find ways to kind of pivot on this side. Hey, if you see your basketball mortality in front of you, then go ahead, sister. Go ahead and do it. But if I know what's going on, I don't think that you're ready to call it quits yet. But it don't look good. It don't look good when people who are misogynistic are looking at this and saying to themselves, this is the only way I want to see her. This is the only way that I want to imagine her. Not on a basketball court, trying to impose or being, try to look like a basketball player. No. She's better here. You don't want people labeling you, putting you in a box like that. So don't give them the option to do so. You're a basketball player. Get good at your game. I'd rather not see you at all and you actually working on your damn game rather than looking like Draymond Green on offense. That's all I'm saying. I think I'm being nice. I'm not being crazy. Not being disrespectful. I'm just saying that you want to be taken seriously. And the only way that you're going to be taken seriously is if you show improvements in the parts of your game that are lacking. Not you revealing parts of your body that, people have seen or not seen, or they've never seen you look like this, or whatever the case may be. Like I said, I saw it and I was just like she was naked, but it was just like what are we doing?
Yeah, also too, for you said Caitlin Clark's kind of giving back and helping charities and whatnot. Like for Angel, she's a role model to younger girls and stuff, You should be showing these girls, work hard and you'll get to where I am, even if she's having some trouble in the WNBA. If you work hard, you're going to get to where you are, and then keep working, you'll get better. And she wants all this more recognition. She doesn't really like the fact that kind of Caitlin Clark is shining. She wants equal shine, which, in this time, it's not really warranted. She hasn't really proven it, but going back, she should be encouraging the youth to be working and get into athletics rather than taking pictures of your body and looking for whatever attention she's seeking or whatever the reason is. But
well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Okay. I tried to hold back, and I heard something that you said, and it did make sense. That you want to be a role model to these young girls and show them what you can be able to do if you work hard. So the nice part of me is now trapped somewhere in a closet. And now the villain has to come out. Yes, I agree. But maybe she's saying to herself, hey, you can create an OnlyFans. You can work hard and create this OnlyFans as well. Once you get of age, you can be able to do this too. So I'm sorry. I was just trying to hold it. And I just can't, because she's an imposter. And she's been an imposter for a very long time. She's impostoring as a basketball player, and she's not, because I've never seen somebody throw a ball at a basket so many times and fail. and then she's the one that gets her own rebound. I've seen this girl shoot 7 times and grab 7 rebounds in the same possession. It's damn near impossible to miss that many times in a row and still get the opportunity to miss again. It's amazing. It is a skill. I'm telling you. There might be girls that are practicing this as a drill. Go ahead and show me how many times you can miss and grab your own rebound. It's nuts.
I'm not gonna lie. When you show me the video a few months back of her kind of missing,
I'm sure you were shocked.
I was inspired. I was like, if she can make it, like, and she's doing like, I can have a shot too. Like, she looks like me playing basketball, just throwing it, completely missing.
Listen, I got laughed at in high school for how I played. This girl is in the WNBA. There's possibilities here, okay? I've seen Donald Trump become president. Anything is possible. You don't tell me that I can't do something. Yeah. It's inspiring. It is. So it actually is inspiring for the youth. You are 100% right, Silent Assassin. We're in agreement. We're in agreement. After the break, I'm going to talk to my big homie, Tom Greer from the Grindhouse Radio. We're going to talk Mets. We're going to talk Juan Soto, because we haven't talked in a while. We're going to talk Pete Alonso and, the state of the Mets after the break. Welcome back, y'all. So I have my very, very good buddy on the show right now. He is the co-host of the Grindhouse Radio. Welcome to the show, my man, Tom Greer. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I've been looking forward to this for a few weeks since we talked about it last weekend. I'm super pumped to be here. Thank you so much for having me back.
Now, of course, man. Listen, if I can get you on as many times as possible, I will do so. So if you are available, I will call you. Trust me.
Whenever you need me, I am a phone call or a text message away. But whenever you need me.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that. So obviously we are two big Met fans. This is our Mets segment for the podcast. So obviously we haven't spoken. So what are your takes about the whole us getting Juan Soto, your reaction, your feeling, your optimism?
I haven't felt this good about landing somebody since the Mets, maybe since they brought in Beltran. Like when Piazza came here, like I was still a kid, so like I didn't really grasp the magnitude of how big that was. I just knew Mike Piazza's my favorite player. This dude's mashing home runs. He's great. This is the first time, like as an adult, that like I'm realizing, holy crap, the Mets just got Juan Soto. All those years of watching lineups with freaking Ike Davis, Kirk Neuenhuis, Omar Quintanilla, Wilfredo Tovar, I think was a minor leaguer that came up one time. Like all of those years of just garbage lineups. I'm not saying that Soto's like the finishing piece, but I'm saying like we finally got one of the big guys to come here. Like this is amazing. Absolutely. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, that was my thing too. It was like, finally, we actually get a guy that is box office. We haven't had that type of guy for a very long time. We had David Wright. When David Wright was right, no pun intended, he was one of the best players in baseball. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he was end to end, both sides of the field, Gold Glover, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs type of guy. So, we had that for a little while. We had Beltran. We had Delgado. We had these guys, and they had their little run. But now we have like one of the best premier bats in the sport.
Oh yeah,
a Hall of Fame guy. He's not even in his prime yet. So for him to literally say to himself, "I want to choose the Mets to end my career," that's something that we've never experienced before. So we're in this space where I remember what Red Sox fans felt like when they won the World Series back in what was that? 04?
Oh, something
like that.
2004.
Yeah. Like they were like, okay, what do we do now? That's how we kind of feel as Met fans. Like we're like, okay, we have Soto, but what do we do now? Right? Like, do we behave differently? Are we now the kings of the town? I don't believe so. I just think that we're making steps to be able to be the franchise that we've always dreamed to be, consistent, making the playoffs every year, being a contender. And that's how I see it. Like, a lot of people say, World Series a bust. I don't look at this team like that right now. I look at it like we are building something big that we've never seen in Queens since, a couple of years in the 80s.
Oh, dude, I totally agree with you. And I want to say, like what makes this even crazier is, like, even with all those names that you mentioned, like Beltran, Delgado, David Wright, and everybody, the Mets have never, outside of Tom Seaver and Doc Gooden, like, the Mets have never really had one of the top 5 best players in all of baseball. It's never really happened. I'll give you David Wright because he was amazing, but Juan Soto, it's like Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge. You can give me Bobby Witt Jr. and like Juan Soto, and that's where you're going with the top 5, top 6, wherever. Like, the Mets don't ever get that, and that's what makes this so freaking exciting. And I hate listening to New York sports radio because all it ever is, it morphs into a conversation of being like, oh, the Mets are going to take over this town. Like, one, that's never going to happen. And if it does happen, it's not going to happen for a really long time. As a Mets fan, all I care about, and truly, if what I define as a successful season, and maybe this is because we haven't seen a lot of winning, is a successful season to me is one that I had fun watching. It wasn't excruciating to get through, and we made the playoffs. Like, that's a successful season to me. If the Mets can provide me entertaining baseball like they did this past season, I consider that a win. And I don't I hope that they build to that. I feel like that they're building to that, but I hate this whole like World Series or bust. Okay, now you got to do it. Now you got to be the Yankee big brother. No, sports are entertainment. I want to be entertained. I don't want to feel like I should be asking the Mets for my money back because they got shelled by the Reds. You know what I mean?
Right. No, absolutely. I agree with you. I think last season was one of the most exciting seasons I've been a part of or I've witnessed as a Mets fan in a very long time. I think the closest season that can kind of compare is 2015. 2015 was a really, really fun season, right? And then you had a lot of hodgepodge in between. So if they can be able to continue to build and have fun like that, I think there's a lot of Mets fans that will be satisfied with that. Obviously, you're going to have, our fan base is very divided. Like, you have the really PTSD Met fans where they're never happy about anything. And like, we can go ahead and get Juan Soto and they'll say, well, what else are we getting? And then it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like, we just literally got one of the best players in the league. So,
exactly.
I just want to see this team just build the right way. I trust David Stearns. I trust Steve Cohen. I trust the brain trust that's here right now. Our pitching lab, everything that we've done, our minor league system, our scouting department, our international scouting, everything right now is at the best it's probably ever been at.
Oh yeah.
For this franchise's history. So I just want to see them continue with that. And whatever happens. I just want to be in the mix. As a Met fan, I just care about being in the mix.
Yes, I want to still be enjoying baseball. I mean, I always enjoy baseball to a fault. Like, it's my favorite sport of all time, so I'll never not enjoy it. But I want to be invested in a Mets season through June and through July. Like, I want to like eliminate the June swoon, crippling the Mets and keeping them out of the playoffs. Like, I don't want that anymore. I just want this team to give me, because like I agree with you. Like, this past season, I think what also helped this past season is the story, like the story of the team being the worst team in baseball, basically in the beginning of the season, and then taking the shot up to being in the NLCS. Like, that whole ride was amazing. I don't think there's ever been a Mets season that's had me going through Mets withdrawals like this past season did. Like, this season ended against the Dodgers. I was sad because they weren't still playing, and like, you just got so emotionally invested in these games that I was just happy that I got to experience that. And I was like, why is the season over? I just want more. I need to see more. Like, I want to go to Citi Field and be freaking singing My Girl with everybody in the stadium. Like, I want to see the the when the lights go out and they start flashing the blue and orange as the opposing relievers coming out of the bullpen. Like the vibe around Citi Field this past year was like nothing I had ever experienced. It was, and that's all I want. That if the Mets can provide me that on a regular basis, that's a success to me. Of course, as they keep winning, we're gonna start saying, well, you do got to get one World Series at some point, but let's build to that. Like we had a terrible season 2 years ago. There was a terrible season 2 years ago. They fell on their faces in the wild card game a couple of years ago. Like they're pulling themselves basically out of the ashes and building like a Dodgers East, and I'm here for that. I'm all here for that.
Absolutely. Well said, man. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, be a low maintenance fan. That's what I'm trying to be, a low maintenance fan where I'm not asking for much. I just want to make sure that the product on the field is consistent. Guys are having fun. We can trust management to, whatever they say, we can actually believe it and not take it with a grain of salt. So, those are things that I want to see continue. And right now, I think we're getting that. So, based on the offseason that we had, Tom, we've seen that the additions of Sean Manaea, we've had other guys come in. We've made some little moves in regards to the pitching depth. What do you think is still needed on this team? Do you think that we still are looking for a front end starter? Are you looking for more bats? What are you particularly looking for that you want the Mets to add?
See, the thing about me is like I'm sure you too, like growing up, like the Mets always had pitching. Like it was always like the big arms coming up, and that was their thing. The Mets have been a pitching factory forever.
Yeah.
So part of me looks at the rotation right now, and while I love Sean Manaea, I thought he was an amazing. I thought he was it was an amazing story to watch him turn himself around and basically redevelop himself as a pitcher, basically being the team's ace. So I love that Sean Manaea came back. Montas, I'm willing to just be like, okay, Jeremy Hefner sees like he can do what he did for Luis Severino, because Montas didn't look terrible last year, but he's not amazing. Senga, you're gonna have to prove it to me. You're really gonna have to prove. Like I've seen Senga be good. He's just outside of a playoff start, I believe. I've seen Senga be good. I just need to see that he can do it on a consistent basis. David Peterson, if he gives me what he gave me last year, I'm all good. I think I would even slide him above Montas at that moment.
Absolutely. I'm with you with that.
The bottom of the order, like shaping out to be like Clay Holmes, Blackburn, and Griffin Canning. Like a part of me wants one more pitcher, one more starter, but I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know. I don't think there's really anybody of note available. And it's like, it doesn't sound like Sasaki's coming here. So the rotation, this is probably the rotation that they're starting with this year. So all I can think of that the Mets need at this point is a DH. Santander would be cool. We're going to get into the Pete conversation later. So I have some other ways that DH gets switched. I'd just like to stock the bullpen. Like give Tanner Scott a 3 or 4 year deal. Like the bullpen is like outside of Edwin Diaz, and I mean, like that's kind of it. Like there's really not that many people in this bullpen, because you'd have to imagine McGill's going to wind up in there now that he's going to be forced out of the rotation. I don't trust Reed Garrett, and it's a lot of other just names. Denell Nunez was pretty good, but they need somebody to get. They need guys to get to Diaz. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that if they can be able to get another front end starter, that'd be great. But I think bullpen help is the biggest need right now, because you can never have enough bullpen arms. So if you can be able to add, I would love to get Brooks Raley back. He had his whole season was lost. So we can be able to get him back, especially as a lefty out of the pen. I mean, those are things that you need, right? You need situational guys that can be able to get you out of jams. And I think that he still has great stuff. I mean, David Robertson is still out there. He's really good, really reliable. So there's a couple of guys that you can be able to still go after, because right now, there's a ton of relievers on the market. The reliever market is going to start heating up anytime soon now, right? So you can be able to get a lot of guys at a premium cost. You don't have to, commit multiple years to a lot of guys out there. It's going to be one year deals. So if they can be able to kind of package off or package up a couple of guys, I think that's the best thing. But going into what you said, obviously we still need more firepower offensively.
Yeah.
Would I like a Bregman? Yes, but it just depends on how you're gonna go ahead and align everybody else on in the lineup and positional wise. Santander would be good as a DH. You don't really want him in the outfield too much because he is a butch out there. But there's different things that we can be able to do. They can get creative even in the trade market as well. So we'll see what they do with that. But the biggest, obviously, elephant in the room is Pete Alonso, right? Yeah. Met fans are clamoring for him to come back. Media, he's been the talk for the last 2 years in regards to what's happening with Pete. Ever since he turned down the big time extension, the 6-year was $153 million deal.
Yeah, it's around there.
Now he's been on the clock. So for me, you're hearing all these reports that a couple of days ago, it was the last week, Boris wanted the Prince Fielder contract. They wanted a 9-year deal. Then it went down to, well, Pete wants a 6-year deal. Then we heard that now recently he's willing to go to a 3-year deal only with the Mets. No, not with anybody else. So for me, it's just like the way the Mets have played this, they've played it masterfully, in my opinion, because they never bet against themselves. They never bid against themselves. Whatever the market is, you go ahead and let Pete dictate the market, let the other teams dictate the market, and then we can go ahead and have a negotiation. But Pete right now doesn't have a market, Tom. And for him to continue to try to wait this out, I had said it last week on the show, is that when you go get Scott Boras, your entire strategy is to get paid. It doesn't matter who's paying you. Your whole strategy is to get paid. That's why he fired his agent. But sometimes you can literally kind of destroy your own value and kind of botch your own free agency if you go ahead and do so. The first base market is non-existent. You saw what Christian Walker got. You saw what Paul Goldschmidt got. There's no big market out there for a 4-year, 5-year contract. So for him to even still be in this situation, and the Mets have been saying to him, we've always wanted to give you a short-term deal. Why not agree to this? And we're hearing this now. We're hearing that they're far apart on certain things. And it's just like, it's getting to the point where a deal needs to get made. Yeah. Like I hope that they can be able to come together within the next 4 days, get this done so we can be able to start hammering out the remaining parts of this team. But what are your thoughts on the entire process, the negotiation, how that's gone as a Met fan? How do you feel personally?
So like if we're talking to like the little kid in my mind that was like grew up a Mets fan, like I would be clamoring for Pete to come back, like just do whatever it takes, bring Pete back. But like looking at the Mets as they currently sit, I understand that having Pete Alonso behind Juan Soto could help. But what I do also understand is that Pete Alonso is in his early 30s, and it would be irresponsible to give him anything right now. It would be irresponsible to give him anything more than I'm stretching it when I say a 4-year deal. You know what I mean? Because you've seen back 2 years. I know he did have 40 home runs, not this past season, the season before, but it's been his batting average has been dipping. He has been hitting the long ball, but he doesn't put a lot of balls in play other than hitting home runs. I think his defense is, I think people rag on him way too much for his defense. I know he had a couple of problems with foul ball pop flies in the playoffs, but
his stretching ability is elite.
It's insane. Yeah, I think he gets disrespected a little when they talk about his defense, but I understand he's not Matt Olson. He's not any of these Gold Glove first base.
He's not a super athletic guy.
No, absolutely not. And while I want Pete here sentimentally, I personally think that the Mets wind up positionally being better if they move Vientos to first base, sign Bregman. The only thing that scares me about Bregman is that he's looking for a 7-year deal. That also kind of scares me.
Right.
And moving Vientos to first. And then if you really want to, you go pay Vlad in the offseason, because that's where it kind of sucks for Pete, because Pete, he'll take a 3-year deal from the Mets with opt-outs. But if let's say he has a big year, let's say he takes that and he has an opt-out after the first year. Okay, Mets sign it, great. Let's have a nice day. Let's say Pete has an okay season or a good season. He's still not going to make, even if he has a great season, he's not going to make more money than Vlad Guerrero. He's going to make significantly less than Vlad Guerrero. Vlad's going to be making not Soto money, but a crazy amount of money because he's still really young.
Yeah, he's going to be making anywhere between, 475 and 540.
Yeah,
over
exactly.
the span of his contract.
Exactly. And also, like, how many, it's hard for me to also look at this because, like, you can't sign Pete with the possibility of moving him to DH because Francisco Lindor is going to be here for the next 10 years. And you'd have to imagine as he gets older, he's going to have to start filling in some days at DH. Like, right. I don't want to clog that position up with
same thing with Soto.
Yeah, exactly. Soto will probably do that towards the end of his contract. You can't bring in Pete to be a DH. And then if you bring in Bregman and Pete, what's going to happen when Bregman starts breaking down? Is he going to have how many DHs do we want to eventually have on this team? You know what I mean? So right. I would like to see Pete back just for the sentimentality. The guy is a homegrown Met. He's our guy. I don't think there's really any other fit for him other than the Mets. But if he didn't come back and they pivoted and was like, hey, Alex Bregman, come on in, and Vientos, we're going to move you to first base for a season, and then we'll figure it out next year. I still think they're a really good baseball team. I mean, Bregman's proven in the playoffs. The dude gets big hits when it matters. He's a really good defender at third. I'm not as devastated if I think just sentimentally I'd be devastated if Pete left, just because of all the fun moments, like that home run he had against the Brewers to send him to the NLDS is you hear the Moneyball edit and it brings a tear to your eye. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. I mean, look, I think that home run in itself kind of saved Pete's legacy in New York. I think if he doesn't have that home run and he doesn't have the postseason that he had, I don't even think that we're having this conversation. I think that, the Mets have already moved on and filled that position. So, I myself, me and the Silent Assassin, we're big time Mets fans. We argue all the time. And she's like, she wants Pete back, but I'm kind of with you. I wouldn't mind having Pete back, but I also like the flexibility of being able to do different things. Right. Yeah. Not really being locked into Vientos being your everyday first baseman for years to come. He has some ability to play first. He can be able to play third. He can play DH. Now you can be able to move things around and have a more fluid lineup and have guys just kind of interchangeable. I'm okay with that. And then also giving the young guys an opportunity to be able to step in there and kind of contribute as well. Right. While you're waiting for a generational bat to come. If that's Vladdy, if that's somebody else, who knows, right? So that's the thing. I think that the Mets have handled this very, very analytically, very strategically, and they're taking the emotion out of the negotiation process. And that's what you want your front office to do. A lot of times where I think if this was 10 years ago, Pete's already signed a 6-year deal with the Mets. Because of the public pressure, right? You would have probably seen that happen. Possibly.
I would say possibly, and only reason I would say that he would probably be back is because of how still dedicated to homegrown guys that they still were. They did give Wright the mega deal, and I mean I think that was well warranted. I think the thing with Pete is it's never. I mean, and I guess this is just because it's the Steve Cohen effect, where I don't care about money, dollar signs. I don't care. You're gonna raise ticket prices whether or not you give somebody hundreds of millions of dollars anyway. I don't care how much you give them. It's the years that's the problem. It's I don't want to be locked. As much as I love Pete and as much as I love all of those moments, I physically can't bring myself to feel like a 5, 6, 7-year deal makes sense for a guy who's had who's shown 2 years of decline, and then in his contract year couldn't have his best season. That's when guys have their best seasons. Guys go out on their contract year, get a whole bunch of money, and then people bitch about it for years. You know what I mean? So Pete didn't do that. He as much as I love him, he's big, doofy. The playoff pumpkin was fun. All those home runs are fun. I can't in good conscience say, here's the Prince Fielder contract. Here's 5, 6, 7 years. I don't want to do that because it's just going to lock up that position. And they do got young guys coming up. We were talking about Bregman. Right. Bregman might not even happen because they got to find a spot for Mauricio if Mauricio is going to be something. And I forgot how big that dude is. Like I saw on Instagram, I saw the pictures of him standing next to Soto. He is a giant of a human.
He's a monster. And, he's a monster. And listen,
I don't know why they can't figure out him just to make him play first. Dude's giant.
He may have potential to play first. You have Clifford. There's a lot of guys that you can be able to really look at that farm system and say, you know what? We have some flexibility here. And I think that's probably what Stearns is saying. Like, we do have some flexibility here. Do we actually want to lock ourselves into a guy that may not age the best? Because you got to remember too, like, and this is what a lot of Met fans don't really understand when you're taking the emotion out of it and you're just looking at the bare bones of what somebody's going to do. You're not paying Pete Alonso for what he did in the Mets. You're paying Pete Alonso for what you think he's going to do in a Mets uniform for the next X amount of years. So if he's already showing signs of, I'm not going to say breakdown, but there's some decline there over the last 2 years, how can you feel confident to say, okay, we're going to give him a 6-year deal if he's showed you that decline in 2 years already? You know what I mean? If he was 26 years old, he'd have got paid already, right? He's a right-handed,
I agree.
The right-handed bat. That's not very desirable in the open market for a first baseman. So there's a lot of factors that are working against Pete Alonso right now.
Yeah, and I agree. And look, we could even be wrong. Pete could sign a deal and he could go be a freaking monster. Amazing first baseman, monster. Career shoots right back up in the sky. But I'm going to bet on the side of Father Time. Father Time wins 9 times out of 10, unless you're Tom Brady, I guess. And so I'm going to say he's probably more towards the back half of his career than he was towards the front. But what I will also say is we talk about, like, there's a lot of conversation about Ryan Clifford, Ronnie Mauricio, kind of Acuna, but he did get a lot of playing time. And there are a lot of talk about these young guys. And while I love talking about prospects, I love the idea of young guys coming up. Like, we got Vientos. Like, Vientos coming up through our farm system being amazing. Pete coming up through our farm system being amazing. With all of those hits, we talked about before how there are those pessimistic Mets fans. I myself have been one from time to time. And when I hear that young guys are going to come fill those roles, my brain goes back to Lastings Millage, Fernando Martinez, and all of those guys that I heard were can't miss, and then it blows up in our faces. So, like, a part of me is like, yes, I want to see those guys, and I really hope that they're good. I would like to have somebody at a position that's been there, done that, and can still produce. That's why, and also, like, this Pete Alonso coming to the Mets saying, I'll take 3 years with some opt-outs, screams to me that he's getting offers from nobody.
Yeah.
That's what that tells. Everybody says the Rangers were going to make a push. They did. And everybody said that
the Red Sox,
the Nationals, now the Mariners are the big one that says the Mariners might pay him. I don't know if the Mariners were giving him a deal. I don't know if he would come to the Mets and say, "Hey, I'll come here for 3 years with a couple of opt-outs if you guys are cool with that." The Mets literally just sit back, put their hands in their pockets and just wait for Pete to come down, because it's going to happen. Like, he's not that crazy $200 million deal for 6 or 7, 8, 9 years. It's not happening. It's not happening.
And it may not even happen next year, Tom, even if he does bounce back and hits 50 home runs, because he's another year older and teams are going to look at it like, okay, he had a big year, but we're paying for you going down the road. We're not paying for what you just did. You know what I mean? So that's the scary part for his market.
Yeah, and how much, like, as great of a player as Paul Goldschmidt, we'll all agree, for a long time was one MVP candidate. I think he's got an MVP. He does have an MVP. People, I think potential Hall of Famer. I haven't looked at the numbers, but an amazing player. Do you think the Cardinals loved that deal what did they get out of that? What did they get out of the Goldschmidt and Arenado era? Nothing. They got nothing. That team was nowhere near a World Series to my recollection since he signed that deal. So if Paul Goldschmidt's not putting you over the hump with all that money, all those years, if Paul Goldschmidt's not doing it, what's going to make somebody think a 32-year-old Pete Alonso is going to do with a long-term deal? Like, it sucks that he didn't really come to life in the minors until he was a little older. So he didn't come up until he was in his late 20s. But I mean, unfortunately, that's the hand we're dealt. And I just don't see any other place for Pete. I think he's going to have to settle for like a 3. And again, I'm stretching it at 4. I don't think I'd go past 4. He's going to have to take that probably from the Mets, and off and away we go. I'm okay. Like, and to be clear, I'm totally okay with giving Pete 3 or 4 years and being totally out on Vlad Guerrero Jr. I'm totally fine with that. Because that means we can just go get Kyle Tucker next year.
That would be nice. Now, listen, I'm with you. I am not comfortable with a 4-year deal for Pete, but if they go there, I could understand why they do it. It's just one of those things where, is Pete going to be happy once he signs this contract, right? Because, there's bad blood, there's bad feelings. Remember when, Aaron Judge was going through his negotiations, he admitted that there was a little bit of feelings and bad blood there on his part or his side, right? So is there going to be some bad blood or some hard feelings from Pete Alonso or for Pete Alonso, whatever it is? And is that going to reflect in his season? Because we've seen what the pressure does in a walk here. We've seen what the pressure does in regards to when the trade talks start to swirl for him, right? He was not the same lovable polar bear that you normally see. Like, his character has kind of been, waning a little bit over the past few years. So are we going to get the guy that's locked in, that's, loves the Mets, LFGM? Are we going to see that, or we're going to see another guy that looks like he's pressing? All of those things, kind of concern me in regards to when I'm hearing these 3-year deals with an opt-out after every year, right? Like, what are you actually signing up for?
Yeah, look, to be honest with you, the opt-outs after every year, in my opinion, they work in the Mets' favor, because if Pete has another down, let's say they gave him 3 years, you can opt out after every single one of them. Let's say that that's the case. The Mets are going to look at it. If he has another down year and he just decides to opt out, okay, we're good. Like, you did it for us. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't think I'm too afraid. Like, again, I also think if you're signing a contract, that means your paycheck is going to have a significant amount of zeros at the end of it. I don't think you should be upset whatsoever. I don't think, but I get that this is a process where, like, there's probably unless you love the team and they just love you, like, unless it's a David Wright situation where, like, you grew up a Mets fan, like, you weren't going anywhere, like, you wanted to stay here, the Mets loved you and they were going to basically give you whatever you want. That's fine. Pete's very much not in that situation. And I honestly just kind of lost my train of thought on where I was going with that. But my issue with it is like, I think Pete he's gonna kind of take the beating that he's taken around the league, because it's not just from the Mets. Like, sure, you might be scorned by the team that brought you up, but nobody else is offering you a deal. Like, nobody else is giving you what you want. So at some point, you kind of have to realize what.
Yeah.
Exactly. The Yankees needed a first baseman. Do you think they were going to go have you bat behind Aaron Judge? No, they didn't want you. If there are plenty of teams that need first basemen, need power hitters, need DHs, and nobody's running to knock on Pete Alonso's door. So, like, sure, you could be pissed at the Mets, but be pissed at baseball, because they don't value you the way you value you. So the way I look at it is, if you come to a deal with the Mets, this is the team that brought you up, gave you this opportunity, is now giving you another opportunity. I feel like he has no reason but to just come to camp and work. It's either that or you just don't want to be a baseball player. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. I get that. Again, I get that there's probably bad blood, because it would be like if to Pete Alonso, the Mets are like family, because it's basically all he's known since he's been in the majors. So it would be like, hearing some negative things from like a family member. Maybe that's kind of a similar feeling. But I mean, at some point, you got to realize that you kind of have to get over it and realize that this is that baseball's a business. The Mets are trying to do what's best for them. So you're probably going to hear some things that you're not necessarily going to like. But I mean, that's just the price of doing business in baseball. You know what I mean? The Mets aren't just going to, in good faith, say, "Oh, Pete, we love you. You're great. Here's all of this money." No, it's like, "Pete, we love you. You're great. But how are you going to help this baseball team?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Pete needs to make up his mind. I hope that they get this deal done within the next 4 days to a week, because, there's things to do. Polar bear, you're not going to be the polar bear anywhere else outside of Queens.
No.
So just know that branding is everything. Being where you want to be, being where you're comfortable your entire career, and also you can be able to finish your career in a place where you are comfortable. That says a lot more than signing a $300 million deal in a place that you don't want to be. So
Tiki,
yeah,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah,
I was just listening to WFAN earlier today, and Tiki Barber had an interesting take on it, where he said that this whole situation wherever this goes could end up kind of tarnishing Pete's legacy a little bit. So, Pete, homegrown Met, came up, everybody loved him. Mets give him this extension that he should have taken. Given him this extension, he denies it, goes and hires Scott Boras because he wants to get the best offer possible, which you can't fault him for, obviously. But if he leaves the Mets and goes and signs with, like Tiki said, with like the Diamondbacks, and he's not the transcendent superstar that's that's the poster for the franchise, that's he's not what he is here. The Diamondbacks are never retiring his jersey. He's just going to fade into obscurity.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like all his whole value is coming back to Queens, because if he leaves the Mets, like the Mets are never bringing him back. We're not retiring his number. We're not having a bring back Pete Alonso.
Not going to be in the old timers game for you.
No, because you decided to leave and you didn't really finish the job. You didn't like, sure, the rookie of the year was cool, but he never really won anything here. With Pete on the roster, what do we have? 2 good seasons, maybe. I think it was the one where they won over 100 games in this past year. I feel like these are the only 2 seasons that we had out of good Pete Alonso. So, ultimately, I think he's going to be back. I just can't envision a team giving him the fielder contract. I can't envision a team giving him something that'll tell him, "I'm not going back to the Mets." Unless they have a meeting and somebody in the Mets says something negative about him that he doesn't like and just is like, "Screw you guys, I'm getting out of here." I don't see another fit for Pete. And again, if Pete wants to win, where else is he going to go? This lineup with Pete Alonso in it, assuming Pete can get, if all Pete does is hit 40 home runs, that's a lot. This lineup is pretty freaking lethal. I still think that they would need a DH, but this lineup is still pretty freaking lethal. So I just, all signs point to Pete being a Met again. And I just think it's a matter of time at this point. I think we're just days away from seeing that. I honestly, like we talked last week, we talked about doing this segment last Friday. And other than the fact that my internet was terrible at the house, one of the reasons that I wanted to wait was because I thought that this might be like the last time I came on your show, where as we were driving to the studio, we got the news that DeGrom signed with the Rangers. Right. I was like, you know what, maybe if we push it a week, we'll be about to hop on and Pete will just sign with the Mets and this will be a whole conversation. It didn't happen, obviously, but
that would have been interesting.
Can I ask you a question though?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, so we did I want to get your I want to gauge your opinion on this, and I kind of think I know where you're going to go, but so we were just talking about how it might be good for the Mets to add another starter. Well, the Texas Rangers have made it known that they're open for business. And there were talks that Jacob deGrom might get traded from the Texas Rangers. Would you bring him home?
In a heartbeat.
Thank you. Okay. That's,
listen,
honestly,
I agree.
yeah.
As much as I dogged deGrom for leaving, right? And man, did I let him have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I understand it. I understood why he did it. And honestly, he's a high AAV guy. We wouldn't need him for any more than 15 to 20 starts a season if we can be able to get. All we need deGrom for is to be ready for the playoffs. And if we're a playoff team and you can gear this guy up for the play, why not? Why not? In a short-term situation like that, if he can be able to be healthy, we're talking about one of the greatest pitchers we've seen in the past 20 plus years, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd be open to it. It's just about, does it make sense, and does it make sense for the team that we have currently? We're a team that's going for it. If we're going for a pennant, if we're in a pennant chase and all that stuff, cool, it does make sense. But if we're just a team that's kind of just like malaise and we're not really contending for anything, then it really doesn't make sense.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. It's just the reason I think about it is because I honestly think, like, we were just talking this whole time about, like, smart, prudent moves that the Mets can make to make themselves better. I don't even necessarily know if that move does it, because while Jake is amazing, he does still have all of those injury concerns.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, that trade, assuming we're not, like, giving up the entire farm system, which I don't think we would have to, because it's a lot of money and he hasn't really pitched a lot. Outside of trading, like, massive prospects, like, I would almost just do it for the sake of doing it. To be honest, like, we talk about, like, how many times have the Mets have had one of the best baseball players ever. Well, the Mets for a long time had the best starting pitcher in all of baseball, like the best pitcher I have seen in my entire life being a Mets fan. So, like, if I have to choose between, like, the Pete Alonso nostalgia or the Jacob deGrom nostalgia, I'll take Jacob deGrom 10 times out of 10.
100%.
Because, like, that's all we had. It was all just garbage starts and garbage baseball, but the event was Jake Day. Going to see Jake deal. And, like, I would give so much to go to a Mets game and hear a simple man playing on the PA while he's warming up before the game. Like,
absolutely. I'm with you, Tom. I'm with you. Like I said, I bashed him because I was hurt and I didn't like it. But, the fact that we would be able to bring him home kind of would feel like Seaver. It'd feel like very Seaver-ish.
Could you imagine the insanity at Citi Field for Jake walking to the mound in his
that would be insane.
Like,
that would be, I think every Met fan across the world would smile, because it's like, you get that feeling back of what if he's healthy? What if we can catch lightning in a bottle and have all of these things line up and then we have this magical playoff run? Like, so yeah, I would definitely be open to that if the Texas Rangers actually do, want to move on from that particular contract.
Perfect scenario, trade deadline. Perfect scenario, the Rangers are out of it and they're looking to dump salary, and the Mets could use, like, one more starter, and they're like, here, look, we'll take all the salary off of you. Just take a couple of, like, maybe one high and maybe one low level prospect. Here you go. Send Jake back, and then Jake's here for the playoff run. Like, that would be.
With it. I like it.
If there's anything that could if there's anything that could raise the vibes from last season, it would be that.
Yeah,
that would
100%.
Be insane.
100%. I'm with you on that. Well, listen, your mouth to the baseball guy's ears, Tom.
To Steve Cohen's ears.
Steve Cohen's ears. Let's see how the season plays out. Hopefully we can be able to get a good result, what we want. But listen, it was great to have you on the show, man. It's always a pleasure talking to you, because you're so knowledgeable. You know what you're talking about. You're so passionate as well. And that's kind of the reason why I always like having these conversations with you, because you can feel the passion, and people that are listening to this, they can really, really relate to that. So thank you for coming on, my man.
Dude, I appreciate you got my number now, so anytime you need me, just reach out. I love coming on your show. I love every opportunity to just talk sports with you and just hang out. This is an amazing time. I appreciate it so much. I will also never turn down an opportunity to talk about the Mets because it's like an addiction for me. So I love it, and this has been freaking so much fun. And again, like I said, I can't thank you enough for bringing me on again.
All good, my man. We'll talk again.
Talk soon.
All right. Now it's time for the greatest segment on the planet, Dummy of the Week.
Dummy, yeah.
Every week I go around the room and I ask, who is the Dummy of the Week? There's nobody else here except the silent assassin and myself. So who you got?
I'm going with the backlash, people that are giving backlash to David Muir.
Yes, David Muir. Yep. ABC News.
He was on like the scene in LA reporting on the fires, and he had like a yellow like fireman's jacket, ABC branded jacket on. And as he like turned to the side, you saw he had like some clothespins kind of tightening up the jacket. And people are upset saying like, oh, he's just doing it so he looks good on camera and like show off his physique. But like in reality, I've been seeing it was more of like an audio situation where they didn't really want the coat like flapping around because obviously there's high winds in LA as well. But also too, at the end of the day, like who cares like if he's trying to look more fit or whatever it is, have the jacket look better on him. He's there reporting on a very serious situation. Like at the end of the day, what does it matter what he's wearing?
100%. I mean, look, you're 100% right. The man is on scene. There's ambers flying around. It's hot as hell. You don't think that he can die and lose his life? Like, it doesn't matter how many clothes fucking pins he has. He's there. It's not photoshopped. He's literally there on the ground. So, listen, people, I've realized this about this generation, about people are just miserable. They will find any reason to try to make themselves more important because these little Twitter fingers that people have, they can be able to create and make a star out of themselves by just posting memes or their opinions online. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's gotten worse too because you got, what's his name, Zuckerberg. There's no more DEIs. There's no more fact checking on his platforms. It's just getting worse. She's getting worse and worse and worse. So, yeah, those people definitely get the... Dummy. Yeah. Absolutely. Leave the man alone. I guarantee that they wouldn't be there.
No. Yeah, like, even getting to LA and getting outside, literally being in, like, the flames. Like, you see it right there. Like, anything
you
can
in
happen.
the oven, fam.
Yeah.
Like, no. I don't care what he's wearing. He could have been with a tank top on reporting the news. It didn't matter. He was there. You giving us the blow by blow pause on the scene. So listen, people are gonna say what they're gonna say. It doesn't matter. They criticize Mother Teresa. It's like, you know what? I don't think she give all that shit that she be giving. That's a lie. She's not that nice. I saw her tell somebody to fuck off the other day. Like, it's just people are just miserable fucks, man. That's all I know. That's a good one. I have my own. May I have the drum roll, please? And the winner for Dummy of the Week, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan gets my Dummy. Yeah. Now, for people who are not wrestling fans, this may not apply to you, but obviously you know who Hulk Hogan is. Eat your vitamins, NWO, Hollywood Hogan, the movies, all of these things. We know who Hulk Hogan is. We didn't know that Hulk Hogan was this level of MAGA when we believed it, right? So he was at the Trump rally and, he got support there. But that's not my problem with Hulk Hogan at all. Support who you want to support. If you want to go ahead and judge him for that, that's your business. It's not my issue. But the people in Los Angeles had an issue on Monday night because Raw is now on Netflix. They had the historical deal where Monday Night Raw is now streaming live on Netflix every Monday. And obviously they had all the heavy hitters out the first night, right? They had The Rock there. John Cena was back. Hulk Hogan showed up. The Undertaker was there. It was all the executives were there. So Hulk Hogan comes out and Jimmy Hart is waving the American flag. And Hulk Hogan comes out there and tries to do his regular shtick. And the LA crowd booed the hell out of this man. Booed him out of the building. I've never seen Hulk Hogan booed like this in my life. In my life. No matter where Hulk Hogan he's always getting cheered. He got booed out of the building, and they're starting to think about if they want to have him back for future events because WWE's partnered with his beer. The American beer is his brand. Here's where I come in. I know why they booed him in California. California is a blue state. They don't give a damn about Hulk Hogan repping no MAGA and American beer in California, right? So that was a mistake for him going there.
Dummy, yeah.
But here's my issue with Hulk Hogan. The reason why I don't like Hulk Hogan is because Hulk Hogan is a fucking liar. And I'm not kidding now, because normally Dummy of the Week is jovial and fun. I'm not kidding now. This is a man that lies constantly. He's destroyed people's careers. He's put people under buses. He has tried to make himself look better than everybody else. He had problems with the Macho Man until Macho Man's dying day, and he parades around like him and Macho Man were the best of friends. Liar.
Dummy.
That's one.
Yeah.
He also is a racist and got called out as being a racist. When his daughter Brooke Hogan was dating one of her boyfriends, obviously an African-American guy, they caught Hulk Hogan on camera or on audio calling, saying to Brooke Hogan, oh, if you want to go ahead and go F this N-word, blah, 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 and all these other N-word. Okay. We got you. See, the thing is with me is that every time I hear a person that's not a black person say that, oh, this is not who I am, I was just upset. Forgive me. The fact that you can go to that level because you're upset tells me that you're a racist. Because that's the first thing that comes out of your mouth. The next thing that I don't care for Hulk Hogan about is that there was this African American girl that was a influencer on social media, and she had reached out to, I think she either reached out or they had reached out to her to be the ambassador for the American beer. So she agreed, showed up where she was supposed to show up, and the people that are behind the promotion showed up. Hulk Hogan was there, showed up, and they saw this nice black girl, and they were taken aback. They'd never seen her before. They then called her a few days later and said that they're suspending the campaign and they might not be running it again, but thanked her for her time and her efforts. Shortly after that, they relaunched the beer with a white influencer for the same American beer. So you see where I'm getting at? You are Hulk Hogan, and if you don't want the image of you are actually this person and you let that happen twice on your watch, it's never gonna happen again. For me, being a supporter of wrestling or whatever I am watching, I will never support Hulk Hogan. Fuck Hulk Hogan, and fuck his old ass for always trying to appear in a situation to try to make him look better. You're 70 years old. Stay the fuck home. Nope. In this generation, we don't give a fuck about Hulk Hogan. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, oh yeah, you have kids crying over themselves, trying to get vitamins. Those kids are my age now. They have families, and they've seen all the bullshit that you've done. And we're telling you, we don't want to see you no more. Keep your old ass at home. The day that Hulk Hogan ain't around no more is like gonna be a happy fucking day for me. So that's my message.
Dummy, yeah.
Fuck Hulk Hogan. And I'm glad that they booed his ass out of that building. Every time they see Hulk Hogan from now on, he should get the same treatment no matter where he goes. He can go to the store. He can go to the Hertz down the street. He can go rent a center. He can go anywhere, and he better get that same treatment, because if you know who Hulk Hogan is, you won't like him. That's all for this show. Great show. Shouts to Tom Greer. We talked good Mets. You know, I didn't hear from the Silent Assassin today because there's nothing to say to her. Because I told the truth. I told her this was Pete nonsense. And he's not going to get no deal. It's dried up. What you got to say now? Huh? Do you have anything to say? Anything?
I'd give it, I think Tom mentioned it too, I'd give it like another week and we'll see him signed.
He's desperate.
So,
all right.
He is potentially what we've seen reports of. Sounds pretty desperate to me. But,
very desperate.
He seems like he wants to stay here.
Yeah.
I feel like regardless of any team, I feel like he always wanted to be a Met under any circumstance. So I don't know if I'm being biased, but.
Well, he needs to sign a damn deal and cut the nonsense, because we got stuff to do. All right.
Yeah, I do want to kind of. It is getting annoying. I want to move forward and see, because we still have some pieces like holes to fill. So, and people are going, down to other teams. So
it to me it just feels a little selfish. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. You know, I get it. This is probably gonna potentially be his last big payday. Get your money, but come on now. You heard what David Wright said. David Wright said, "Hey, I'm gonna give him some advice. I would say it ain't gonna get much better than what you got here in New York. You know what I mean? Like, you got the brand, you're the polar bear. You can't be the polar bear with the Diamondbacks. Yeah. You can't be the polar bear with the Giants. You're New York."
Also, too, like, his career can go in so many different paths, but say, like, he wasn't as successful going down the road, right?
Yeah.
If he stays with the Mets, he'll be a legend regardless.
Yeah.
Just because of the numbers, he'll be leading the team.
All time and everything.
Yeah. So, he could be a legend here. He could just be another player.
Right.
Else. So
Facts.
It depends what he wants.
That's a bar right there. You can be a legend, or you can be just an average Joe, just another guy. Or you can create an OnlyFans like and inspire the youth. The fuck out of here with that shit. That's all for this show. I'll see you next week. For the people in California and LA, please stay safe. Galvanize together. Be a community. Don't take just this tragedy to be able to bind and bond together. Use this as, kind of an eye-opening experience that we need each other. We need to be able to be good neighbors and to lend a helping hand when people need it. Not just looking at somebody on the street that might be there panhandling and say, well, I don't know what they're going to do with their money. You give with your heart. It doesn't matter what happens with that money. It's that you're trying to help somebody better their life. So to all the people that have lost their homes, they've lost family members, lost businesses, my heart goes out to you again. Hopefully they get the help that they need from our government and from people that can be able to afford it. So until next week, stay safe, stay cool. Peace. I'm no longer a Cowboys fan. You know that, right? Mm-hmm. I've turned in my card. All right? Mike McCarthy's going to be back. I don't care about that. I'm a Jets fan again. I'm telling you right now. I'm a Jets fan. I don't care what nobody... It's no judgment in 2025. There's no judgment here. You can't judge me and make me feel bad about myself. Okay? I'm back. Okay? I'm back with the Jets. Back. All right? It's always good to be with the devil that you know. So the devil that you don't know, or the one that you've been with 11 years and that's been treated you bad, we're going to go back. We'll go back. Yeah. Go Jets.
My son is the champ. So get over it.